I'm Harvey. I'm really delighted to be here to launch Tim's book. If you know Tim, and I've been friends with Tim for quite a number of years, you'll know that he's an incredibly modest man, very modest person, doesn't really sing his praise. So let's just have a look at what he's published before Dracula in the Colonies. His poetry includes Boat People, All Black Kitchen Gardens, Men Briefly Explained, and New Sea Level. And novels, we have Where We Land and the exciting Emergency Weather. And then we've got short stories, Transported. And what I think Tim's place in New Zealand literary history is, I think Tim wrote the first contemporary climate change work, which is the short story collection Extreme Weather Events, which I think is like about 2001. And people writing New Zealand history note that Tim was well ahead of other people. And today I'm launching this book, and I just want to say it looks fantastic. So Tara, the cover is brilliant, and as a person who buys poetry, the book cover, the typesetting, which is by Brody, it's really important for me. Right, as an object, you know, it's different from anything else, and I think this is very suggestive. The colours, I also thought about Edmonds in a way, as well as Dracula. But there's something a little bit creepy about it as well. You know, there's like an energy which draws you in, and this sort of dark tones are running through the poetry. If you want to get into the poetry and you don't want to start at the beginning, and I don't always do that, there's a couple of avenues you can take. The first thing about this book is that it's really quite personal. I'm not saying that your previous poetry hasn't been personal, Tim, but this quality really strikes me, particularly in Dracula in the Colonies. We have stories of Tim's family's emigration to New Zealand. We see Tim, how he sees his family as a child. We have the great suffering of his mother. We also see Tim as an adult looking at his aged father with the very moving poems Pneumonia and 5 Minutes. And one of the good things, again, about having poetry in a book is that you can get these various perspectives as you're working through a series of poems. And that's one of the disadvantages of just having poetry in a journal, and I think you've woven these together quite amazingly. There are also a range of characters, quite interesting characters that we meet inside the book. Some of these sort of characters, if you live in Wellington especially, may be familiar to you. There is the lobbyist, the high priestess of endless delay, the queen of making nothing appear to be the only affordable thing to do. There's the minister who really cared. The first thing to say about this minister is that he's sincere, sincerely sincere. So sincere, it burns his ears. We don't really get anywhere with that minister. And then there's the visionary, and if you watch the news, this person might be familiar to you. Chrome dome, bright red vein pulsing in his forehead. He's an erection in a suit. And what can we say about this person? The master of bluster and non sequitur. So really, there's a comedic element going in there. And I think the French word blague, I think, means joke, and also piss take. Somebody was telling me the other day, piss take. So we've got this. There's a bit of fun inside the book. But also the sense that the joke might actually be on us. That these people are, we're the joke. But before I move on to the last character, I need to talk about Dracula. Now, Dracula is a character which appeared in Tim's previous collection of poetry, New Zealand, another fantastic collection. And he appears here, but not in the place and time that you might expect. You will see him, if you know New Zealand political history, in the Fish and Chip Club by Parliament with Longy, Bassett and Douglas. He's in the back, and his great message is, The weak know nothing. The strong owe nothing to the weak. The strong owe nothing to the weak. And I think that reverberates with the whole idea of colony, right? The other darker senses of colony. And you might think that we're ending in complete despair, but far from it. Apart from, Mary's mentioned poems which are slightly mysterious, such as Something in a Garden, there is also kind of like positive elements in, not that there's anything wrong with having dark poetry. I'm from Manchester. Forget that, we love it. But like the last poem, What We Leave Behind, which is dedicated to Jeanette Fitzsimmons, and I don't think this poem is just about Jeanette Fitzsimmons. It's a poem about legacy. It's a poem about who you select to be your leaders, who you look up to, and what they leave behind. Right, and that's something that we can think about regardless of, what parties, if you like. It's the wider question of leadership and care and nurturing. So, Tim, I'm really delighted to launch your book. It's fantastic. Thank you, Mary, for doing so much to support New Zealand poetry. And now, without further ado, I officially launch Dracula in the Colonies. May go well. Thank you.